This is the Evil Never Dies podcast with Brett and Carl. This podcast may contain adult themes, violence, and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast. I'm Brett here with Carl, and we're doing a little special episode. Nothing too long. We just wanted to remember Ace Frehley that passed away a few days ago. So, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody knows I'm the big Kiss fan of the bunch here, and definitely bummed out about Ace. Unlike Ozzy, Ace wasn't sick. Ace was actually on tour and had been touring for quite a while. And apparently, now I got the full scoop on this. He had fallen down the stairs at his home studio and I guess was okay. And then he fell again and he wasn't okay. Apparently, he had a bad head injury and some brain bleed and had pretty much been on life support for maybe a week before. It's come out now that Eddie Trunk, I can tell a lot of stories about him and Ace, but they've been friends for over 40 years. Eddie Trunk, the DJ, he's on Sirius XM now. Used to host that metal show or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
But Eddie had put out, he says, I wish people would quit saying Ace had a stroke. He didn't have a stroke. Well, he didn't lie. He didn't. It was an actual accident. But I guess Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer and maybe even Gene and Paul, and they had sort of said they couldn't say anything. The family didn't want it to come out there because I guess they were hoping there might be a recovery, but unfortunately it was not. So Ace passed away and definitely going to be missed. You know, he was the only actual member of Kid. Well, I guess Gene was doing a short tour, but Ace was still on the road. He was touring a lot. He's putting out records a lot. He's put out like 5 records in the last few years.
Yeah.
Very active. Did a couple compilation albums, old 60s and 70s music that they all grew up on. Very active. And I know one of the coolest things for me was on the Kiss final farewell tour, not the first one, which was in Fort Worth. It was like a week later, Ace played at the Will Rogers Convention Center and with Alice Cooper. So I saw them within a week of each other, and I thought that was a real fitting bookend to see Kiss and then see Ace, since they could never come together and do anything else. But another sad thing, politics beyond, I don't care about politics. President Trump announced that Kiss was going to be honored at the Kennedy Center Awards, whatever they call it, in November. And the cool thing is, Peter, Ace, Gene, and Paul, all 4 agreed to go together and take the honor. So would have had the original Kiss for that, but unfortunately, Ace didn't make it to there. So that's sad too. So what you got to say, Brett? Or I've been blabbing.
Well, I'm about ready.
Oh no, I think I made Brett cry. Sorry, I made you cry, didn't I?
No, I had it's still in there.
Well, while Brett dies over here, geez. So Ace, of course, was the original guitar player for Kiss. Was there during the heyday of Kiss with the makeup, and he was always sort of the quiet guy in the beginning. He didn't say a lot. He didn't really do a lot of the songs. Gene, Peter, and Paul did a lot of the vocals, or all the vocals. And Ace's first real touch of glory was they did the solo albums. All four members of Kiss put out a solo album, and Ace's was the big hit. The
Yep.
song New York Groove. It really, I think, showed Ace that he was more than just a guitar player, that he could actually probably go out and front his own band. And I think that might have been where or Gene and Paul started to have to give Ace credit that they didn't really think he deserved. And Ace, that's where it started to come apart because Ace didn't think he needed the two anymore, and they didn't think they needed Ace, and he would leave the band, and Kiss would continue on without Ace. But of all the original members that left, and Peter went first, but Ace was hard when Ace left. It took them forever to replace him. We had Vinnie Vincent, a guy named Mark St. John, and then of course finally Bruce Kulick. So he was hard to replace in Kiss. Nothing against Peter Criss, but so he went on and had a really pretty cool solo career, which is where him and Eddie Trunk actually first met because Eddie Trunk was working for Megaforce Records, and they wanted to sign Ace, and he was actually part of the getting Ace signed to the record label. And it'd been several years since he left Kiss before he actually put out an album, and that album would be Frehley's Comet.
I
And
wore the grooves out of that album,
that was
man.
a really good album, and I still love that record.
So do
Uh,
I.
then he would come out with a second Frehley's Comet album, but unfortunately, Ace had fallen off the wagon during that album, and it was more. I think it was Todd Haltworth. I forget his name. His guitar player did a lot of the vocals on it and wrote a lot of the songs. So it didn't. It felt more like not really an Ace album, but he'd get everything together and do one last solo album, and then it wouldn't be maybe about a few years after that, him and Peter rejoined Kiss, and they went on the reunion tour and went good until they decided that they couldn't work together again. They remember the album Psycho Circus, Brett?
Yep. Yep.
You remember that Ace and Peter actually didn't play on that album.
Yeah, that's right.
So except for Into the Void, which was Ace's song. They so things were the wheels were coming off. They couldn't get along. So Gene and Paul decided they were going to just close Kiss down. And that's where the first farewell tour came from because they really thought that that was the end of Kiss. They were going to retire it after the, couldn't get rid of Peter and Ace again, of course. Well, yeah, Peter quit and they already had booked a tour in Australia. So they brought Eric Singer back. And then Ace quit and Tommy Thayer came in. So that's how the reunion tour ended and the farewell tour ended, and it led to about 20 something more years of Kiss. And unfortunately, they would never get back together as the original band. Um, Paul and Ace did a song on one of Ace's solo albums, Fire and Water. I think that's an old Who song. And I really love that song because I thought it was going to be the beginning of at least Ace coming back. But unfortunately, it never happened. But Ace put out a lot of good solo stuff in the last 10 years. And I hope a lot of people got to see him on tour because Ace put on a damn good show. So definitely going to miss Ace Frehley. He left before his time. It was an unfortunate accident and very sad.
Just sucks, man. The 2025 sucks so far this year, man.
Yeah. Yeah. The Ozzy thing will probably never recover from that.
Yeah, I know. It's still bad.
It is. It is. I was watching the Paramount show last night.
Yeah, I watched it. It's actually a really good show.
It is. It was done very tastefully. Um, You know, I heard a couple stories about Ace and on his third solo album, or third, it was actually, I guess his first, I don't know. It was called Trouble Walking, and there was a song called Trouble Walking. And somebody said, well, Ace would probably have one of his little giggles knowing that, he was supposed to be a spaceman and couldn't really walk around in the Earth's atmosphere, that he fell down the stairs, and he would probably think that was a funny way to go, knowing Ace,
Oh
because he
yeah.
had trouble walking.
That just sucks, man. Uh, well, I believe he knows he had a good life and made a good life for his family and stuff. So prayers are good vibes out to them. So
Yeah, he was real close with his family.
he got two kids.
I believe so. I'm not exactly sure. I don't even know if Ace really knows or not.
Oh, that's funny. Got any other stories?
I got a lot of Ace stories. I'm gonna tell the first one that I actually saw on Headbangers Ball back whenever. Ace was on the show with Skid Row, at least Sebastian Bach and I think Snake Sabo and I forget, maybe the bass player. I don't remember. Ace was drunk as shit. And I mean like really drunk. And he fell off the bar stool and they legitimately thought that he'd hurt himself. But he got up, he's like, hey man, I need another drink. And just that was Ace. He
Did they?
just was a fun-loving drunkard sometimes.
He was funny. Like what was that when they were on what was that? Not Merv Griffin.
Tom Snyder show.
Tom Snyder show.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
posted that clip on my Facebook because
yeah,
that's one of my favorite, because that's when Ace really came out of his shell a lot.
yeah. He was funny on that for sure. Just the way he laughs, man. He's got that maniacal laugh.
And that Brooklyn accent, I
Yeah,
can't do it.
yeah.
Another good Ace story. My friend Russ used to work with Pantera, like on the road crew, and whenever Pantera had switched singers, he'd went with Terry Glaze to Lord Tracy, which was his band, and they were opening for Ace. So Russ said one night they told him, "You need to watch Ace." He's like, "What do you mean watch Ace?" He said, "Well, he wants to go eat, but we can't lose Ace. He'll run off if you're not careful." And he's like, "Ace Frehley ain't gonna run off." He's like,
Ah.
"Yeah, just watch him." So he said that he was, Ace was like at the bar or something, and he turned around and Ace was gone. He couldn't find Ace. So exactly what they said happened. So
Oh
he finally
shit.
found Ace and he was drunk and being Ace.
This was before the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
He lost Ace. He was easily lost.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
there's some fun Pantera stories from the Dimebag had an Ace tattoo on his chest. And there's pictures of young Daryl at Halloween dressed up as Ace.
Yeah. I
So
seen him.
probably biggest hero right there was Ace Frehley for Dimebag. But later years, they became buddies, and he would hang out at Daryl's house. And yeah, guess there was some drunkenness going on, and Ace
Oh
had like
yeah, I bet there was definitely some antics going on there.
busted his head open, and he's like, "Don't tell Gene and Paul; they'll fire me." So I guess they like helped Ace put his makeup on and got him to the show one time.
Oh shit.
There's a lot of Pantera Ace stories. I'm not going to get into all of them.
That's funny.
But I was lucky enough to meet Ace twice, and this is one of my most prized possessions here is a good old signed Ace Frehley picture. How's that?
With the Starburst Les Paul.
Yeah. So that's Ace was really cool. He was real down to earth. And that's another fun story. He said, "Do you spell your name Carl with a C or a K?" I'm like, "A C." He's like, "Good. My dad's name Carl, and that's the only way you're supposed to spell it." I'm like, "Oh." And then he was great. He was great. I've been lucky to meet just about everybody in Kiss except for Paul Stanley, and Ace was great. And I think this is at one of the conventions. I got a picture with Ace, and
Yeah, Texas Frightmare, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, we had a good little talk there too. He was just taking his time and talking to people and fun stuff. So, yeah, I'm honored that I got to meet Ace. And I was following Bruce Kulick and of course Gene and Paul and Peter all posted some really heartfelt comments. Everybody talks the shit with Gene and Paul and Ace all hating each other and crap, but that's still your brother, even
Yeah,
if you're not together.
exactly. They were
So
together for a long time.
they were. So, it's got to be heartbreaking. And I know all four of those guys probably wish they could have worked together, but it just don't work that way sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that get back together for money and it's just misery and they suck and everything else.
Motley Crue. Oh, sorry about that.
What the hell did you just say?
You didn't hear me?
No, you coughed it out.
Motley Crue.
I don't know if that's just for money, but they just suck at this point.
Well, hell yeah, it was for money.
Well, Kiss don't need the money.
No, no, they don't.
But yeah, definitely bummed over Ace.
Well, and that thing with Gene, with him passing out at the wheel of the car, and that could have been way worse
Yeah,
than it.
he almost fell off a cliff. So Gene said that he need that people that suck at driving don't need to be driving, and that's him. So I don't think that'll happen again. I don't know why Gene was out driving himself anyway, for God's sakes.
Yeah, no, he should
He
have
should
him a
have
driver for
he should
sure.
have people for that.
They never said what caused that blackout either. We never heard nothing about that.
Well, Gene appears to be fine. I don't even know if it was really a blackout or if he just hit a parked car. You can't believe half the
Looking at
crap.
his phone,
You just don't know.
the guy who
Gene's only
can't
on
drive
X.
driving and
Gene runs his own X account, so he kind of made a joke out of that. So I don't think it was anything medically
major.
serious.
Yeah.
And he even posted a meme that somebody put. It showed him in the hospital trying to charge the nurse $10,000 for a meet and greet, and Gene's like, "Isn't that appropriate?" So Gene took that sort of
Oh,
with a
that's fucking funny, dude.
yeah. Gene sort of took that with some humor. So I don't. Gene's gonna live to be 100.
$10,000 for a meet and greet.
Yeah, with the nurse.
That's funny. Oh
But yeah,
shit.
I'm pretty bummed because I think Ace had played up at the WinStar like in August, some
Yeah.
and I didn't go to that. So I wish I had of. It's weird because I keep saying that I retired with Kiss. I sort of have.
George and Keith went up there to see
They
that.
did, yeah. Yeah, everybody I know, their influences are pretty much Zeppelin, Sabbath, and Kiss. The Aska guys, that was George's heroes.
Yeah.
Daryl and Vinny. It was all Kiss.
Yep. All about Kiss, man.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give a little tribute to the great Ace Frehley, and there'll never be another. Uh, Great dude, man. Unless you're Gene and Paul, apparently. I've never really heard anybody say anything bad about Ace. I mean, we know he had his
He was
vices,
always my
but
favorite, man.
most people will say that. I think not of the originals that Ace was definitely one of the favorites.
Yep, for sure. Yep. All right. Are you done?
I'm done, I
No more
guess.
stories?
I could tell more, but we're going to keep this short. I have about 12 more stories.
Well,
I'll tell them later.
maybe we'll make a part two.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw this out there before it got any later. We've had a rough few weeks getting the show done with different things. So
Yeah.
I do got an old Kiss shirt on here. Look at this thing.
Oh, the Rock and Roll Over album cover.
Yeah, this is a really old shirt. So, and it's funny because Ace is actually always on the set of the show right there too.
I bought that album because of Christine 16.
Really?
Yep. Because they play Christine 16 on the radio all the time. So I went and you remember back in the day when they like K-Tel, remember K-Tel
Yeah, I do.
would put out them records with famous songs, but it wasn't the actual artist singing them. You remember that?
I do.
Well, I'd bought, it was at the Kmart or whatever, and pulled that sucker out and thought it was the actual thing, and it sounded nothing like on the radio. I was pissed. So I had to go back and get the actual album.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, rest in power there, Ace. You will be missed, and I guess we will talk to y'all later. Say bye, Carl.
Bye. Stay evil.
There's a reason I remember it well. I was slipping and sliding, drinking and driving, bringing me closer to hell. And the devil sat in the passenger side of DeLorean's automobile. He said, "Hey, Frehley, Frehley, let's not be silly. There's a life out there to steal. Rock soldiers come. Soldiers go. Some hear the drum, and some never know. Hey, rock soldiers, how do we know? Ace is back and he told you so. One-way road, hitting everything in sight. I cried, I am invincible. Said I was high above the law, but my only high was just a lie. And now I'm glad I saw. Rock soldiers come. Rock soldiers go. But the closer you get to that fiery hole, you'll have to make it alone. When I think of how my life was spared from that near fatal wreck, if the devil wants to play his card game now, he's gonna play without an ace in his deck. Rock